Hello YouTube, this is Streamline with DVS. I'm here to introduce you to the game called Star Trek Online, also known as STO. It is a perfect world game that is run through the ARC launch engine. This game is based on the TV series Star Trek, the original series, or known as the TOS series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, and the movies that have been recently made. It's based on the creators' ideas of where they want STO to go, and nothing's put in this game without the approval of the Star Trek companies. When you go in to create a character, you want to click on New Character. It gives you the factions that you can choose. So you can do the TOS Starfleet, which is characters from the original series with James Kirk. You got Starfleet faction, which covers all the Federation alliances. You've got the Romulan faction, and then the Klingons. They've recently made it so if you play Klingon or Romulan, you can choose whether you want to be on the Klingon side or Starfleet side of the game. Depending on which side you choose, changes the things you have access to and the stuff you can do in the game. Now, it can be very overwhelming for beginners. So, if you're a Star Trek fan, it should be easy to choose what character you want to play. If you're not a Star Trek fan, going through and reading each of them would be beneficial and helpful. So, for instance, when you come in, you can choose the original series, and it only gives you these 4 choices. So you can click on the race info, tell you what traits you get with that character. If you do class info, it'll tell you what you get with that class, which you can choose on the right here. So engineering, if you do class info, it'll show you all the powers that you get and abilities. So engineering is a tank / a healer type character. If you go science, you're crowd control, DPS, or healer. And if you go tactical, you're DPS / tank, depending on how you build your character. So, if you're looking for doing a lot of damage, you might want to go tactical officer. As far as race, you want to find one that would fit doing as much damage as you can. So you want to pay attention to the different abilities and everything that they give you. So when selecting each one, you can see that no matter what race you choose, if you keep tactical, you're going to keep those class powers. Go science, no matter which one you choose, it's going to be those powers right there. Well, let's say you want to go Starfleet, and each faction has its own starting area, but all the races will go through that same starting area. So let's say you want to be a Andorian, and let's say you want to go with being a tank. So you would select the engineering. You'd get extra shields and frequency. You'd be able to create a cover shield when you're on the ground. They've got different missions in here, ground missions, space missions, so you actually get to control your ship and everything. So when you select your race and species and career, you would hit next, just like any other game where you create a character. Faction, pretty much, and career would be similar to your class in World of Warcraft for those that play. Wow. So once you're done selecting which faction you want, which race, which species, and which career you want, go next. You get to choose your appearance. So you can change your stance, and this character model will show you what the stance consists of. And they have so many that you could sit here all day creating a character and spend most of the day just coming up with what you want your character to look like. Now there's multiple aspects of STO. You can go in there to just play the game and run through all the episodes, which are similar to missions. You can go in there to PvP and strictly do PvP. You can go in there to roleplay, or you can just go in there to run around and do whatever you want, pretty much. There's no restrictions to what you can and can't do. So let's say you pick the thoughtful stance. You select the option underneath and it gives you a drag bar to choose how tall you want your character to be. 6'6" is the highest you can be. Now for those that roleplay, you want to try to stick to the actual characteristics of the species that you choose to play. So Andorians, for instance, they have these two antennae which move according to how they feel, their emotions. Then you choose their facial features, and you can zoom in and select what face you want them to have, select what hairstyle you want them to have. You can do advanced stuff on the head, select all the head style and everything. You can change the width of the cranium and the height and slope and all that. Nostrils, your brow, even all your facial features, jaw width and protrusions and all that. So if you wanted to, let's say, have a character with a protruding mouth with a really wide jaw, you can create that. Go to the body. You can change the leg bulk, width, upper leg bulk. It gets in very detailed on how you want your character to look. And you go into uniform and you can select the uniform that you want. For those of you that like to stick to the actual way the game, the TV series and the movies go, you can select according to wherever you want your character's background to be from, or however you want to create it. And you can select the different colors, add different badges and rank insignias. You can put different things on the hands. So you can go bare, you can go long nails, gloves padded, gloves paneled. Lower body, and even the lower body has different uniform selections. So let's say this is what we want to go with. Go to next. Here's the background. You can enter their name. Go with Tarisha, for instance. You can choose to do a formal name if you want to go into the whole background story. So So you can say her real name is Josephine Dull Rapier, for instance. And you can change the way the name is displayed. So you can go last, first, middle, last, however you want. You name your ship. So let's say you want to name it USS Gnarly. The biography is for those that want to RP or roleplay. You can create a biography and create a background for the characters. So you can say, for instance, Josephine was a spy for the Andorian Federation. She had differences. She had a difference of opinion with the way things were handled in her division. Once you get that all set up, and you can actually set up these biographies later on in the game if you want, which that will be displayed in a later video. Click engage. Your character is now created. There are ways to look up names for those that want to go along with the actual background of the species and go with the names that they would like to have, or would actually have according to their species. Now once you engage, you're given the option to either play the tutorial or skip the tutorial. It is beneficial to play the tutorial in this game because it will show you how most of the basic stuff works. Get an intro video that explains how everything got started and how the races and species intertwine, and they give you the backstory and everything. I have this muted to be able to explain how everything works in the game, and I don't want the game music to interfere. So it shows how the Romulans, Andorians, and the Vulcans interacted with each other. And it's talking about the war with the Klingons and how things went south and who did what to who and everything. You can easily hit escape to skip the intro video, unless you actually like watching it to see how the game plays and everything. And this shows you a lot of the history. For this video's purposes, I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, because it's a really long intro. When you get done with the video, it will load and put you where your starting point is. It will welcome you to Star Trek Online. Simply hit continue. Now you have a mission screen that shows what episodes you're working on, what missions you have to complete. There is a chat window here in the bottom left corner where you can talk to people in game. If you left click, it'll show you all this, which I will go over in a later video about the different chat channels and chat configurations and how to set up the chat boxes. Down in the middle screen, you start with an action bar. You can adjust how many trays show up, so if you do 3, you'll get 3 rows of bars, and this is usually helpful because of how many abilities you will have on your character, whether you're on the ground or on a ship. And you run over, you can disable the pop-ups or you can leave them up, and it will tell you which buttons you need to press to interact with people. So let's talk to Cadet Elisa Flores. And you can see what it says in the discussion, and you select the answer, and it'll give you your next mission once the conversation gets to the point where it's time to move on. And it gives you the next mission. Up in the top right corner is your mini map. You can go mouse over it and scroll down to zoom out, scroll up to zoom in. You can even drag the map, left click and drag the map, and it will show you where the area that you need to go to. It won't show you specifically because there will be once you get within the area, you'll find icons over the characters you need to contact. Where this differs from other MMO, RPG type games, you hit I for your bag or inventory. This shows you what you have in your actual inventory, what you have in your R&D inventory, and assets shows you a lot of what you possess in the game for reputation, in-game currency, fleet assets. Dilithium is a form of currency to buy certain things and upgrade equipment for your character. And gold pressed platinum, which you can buy special things like outfits and toys and stuff for your character as well. To bring up your character screen, you hit K, and this shows you your captain, the ship that you currently have, which they start off your engineer with a light cruiser, and your basic weapons that you start off with. Now at the lower levels you don't have to worry about your equipment because you'll upgrade really fast, and they go by marks. So these weapons are considered basic, like Mark 1 for instance. When you get a new weapon, it'll be a Mark 2 and it'll actually say Mark 2 on the bottom of the item. You can open your mail, and as you can see, just like every other game, you get the currency sellers that try to get you to buy the in-game currency for actual money. Top left corner is your character, showing the health and how much shield they have left, and every character gets a certain amount of personal shield. Right above that is your booster points that help you with different areas of the game, which will be further explained later on. And in the top left there is a list of ranks, shows you the rank with the rank name and what you get when you make that rank. Now every 10 levels up to level 60 you get a new ship, so you get to buy a new ship to match your rank. So you get bigger, better ships. And all that will be explained in a later video, as this is just for the basic player, just for getting into the game first time. Go in, have fun with it, and don't be afraid to ask anybody for help, because there isn't a single person in here that wouldn't help a beginner. And I will see you guys in the next video to go deeper into the game.